Welcome back. In our video today, we're going to be gaining insights for Moon in Aries, or Moon in the first house. We have a lot to cover. So go ahead and put your headphones in and put your phone down, and let's discuss this placement and transit. First, we're going to break down exactly what the Moon is and what it's all about. So, the Moon is about your early childhood upbringing, the domestic life, the home dynamic. It has a lot to do with your mother and the way that you perceived her to have raised you early on in life. Okay, it also does represent your past life, things that went on and took place there. But it does also represent your ancestors. Okay, the fourth house is linked to Cancer, and it's also linked to the Moon. So this house really deals with your emotions, how you feel on an emotional level, your sensitivity, your nurturing skills, being a caregiver. Now, the first house in the natal birth chart is ruled by Aries. Okay, and we do know that Aries is ruled by Mars. So this is Mars' house. The first house has to do with your identity, your personality, your traits and characteristics, the way that people view you on the outside opposed to the inside. The Moon would be the inside, your deep emotions, and how you feel in the most deepest level. But the first house is everything on the outside. Just people just meeting you, getting to know you. Mars is about taking action, being a soldier, being a warrior, and fighting to the death. So when you are dealing with Mars, you are dealing with more of an aggressive nature. You are dealing with an individual that is taking charge, taking action, being proactive, very driven, and passionate about whatever they decide to do with their life. So we're going to get into this right now. Moon in the first house, men and women. So people with the Moon in the first house are emotional and delicate. No matter how great their life is, they never forget about others and lend a helping hand wherever it is needed. So the strengths are affectionate, caring, and straightforward. Their challenges is going to be moving away from bias and negativity. So when positioned in the first house, the Moon makes people highly sensitive, very emotional, and delicate. These men and women are more honest about their feelings and usually live their life by going with the flow. This means they may have some problems with their relationships, especially when reacting over emotionally to different situations and specific kinds of people. So it's just impossible for them to be less sensitive. So they need a partner to help them trust and feel secure to open up about what they may be feeling. Only with a trustworthy person will they be comfortable and happy enough. It's very easy to hurt the Moon in the first house men and women. Okay, so these men and women are emotional to the extent that their feelings can be hurt very easily. You have to keep in mind that the first house has to deal with your personality, your characteristics and traits, and also your ego. So it does fuck with your self-esteem because it has to do with your self-esteem, your self-worth, how you perceive yourself, and how other people are viewing you. Okay, so it's very easy for these men and women to get their feelings heard because they get immediately offended when someone seems to just say something in a harsher manner, counting only on their emotions. These men and women don't judge too rationally most of the time, so their decisions may not be the most efficient ones. So these men and women are going to have a deep-rooted need to feel recognized, to be noticed, for people to acknowledge who they are as a person and as an individual. Always having feelings about something or someone. People with the Moon in the first house are often rushed and emotional, very nurturing characters. They want to take care of everyone and react based on their gut feeling, especially if the Moon is very close to their ascendant. So these men and women need to always have their emotions stimulated to express themselves freely if they are to be truly happy. So because they're moody, many men and women with displacement may not stand to have them around. Their sensitivity often has them taking everything personally and reacting in a very defensive mode to any situation that is being presented to them. So it's important for them to be more patient and to learn that other people's emotions are equally important to theirs. So it is easy to impress these men and women, and when they find something surprising, they react like they have never seen something similar ever before. You can count on them to always say what they're feeling because they find it impossible to keep their emotions hidden. So these men and women, how they're feeling is going to be very present in their face. Okay, so you can peep out when these men and women are not feeling the best in the mood, when they're moody, when they're off balance, and things like that, because it's hard for them to hide it. You can see it very visible. So as the moon occupies the first house, or the birth chart, they have quite the need to get noticed for their talents and could predict future events with the help of their amazing intuition. So these many women can be extremely psychic. Even future seeking, they can see things beyond the visible eye. They use their intuition to manifest things into existence. They use their intuitions to get clues on what may and may not go on to take place. So as soon as they manage to keep their moods and impatience in control, they start achieving great things by intuitive means. Their sensitivity is not the most helpful thing for them because it tends to be quite extreme, especially when they're young. So it's difficult for them to mask what they are feeling because, like with Capricorn or Scorpio, their emotions are written on their face. So these men and women with moon in the first house have a tendency to speak about what's going on in their head out loud. No matter how inadequate it may seem for them to do that in a conversation, they wouldn't mind if no one listened. And they would particularly talk to themselves without being bothered. All right, so now, not the most objective people. They're at least very sympathetic and they can feel other people's pain or happiness, especially when dealing with someone very close to them. As a matter of fact, they pretty much identify themselves through empathy because they're trying to stay away from pain and suffering as much as possible. Many will think of them as cold or indifferent, when in fact they would only try their best to protect themselves. So even though they might be showing up in a way that they are cold, distant, or even detached, it's really a defense mechanism for them. Okay, to protect themselves, it's only a way for them to protect themselves. Okay, so when it comes to the way that they look, moon in the first house, men and women have a pale skin, especially if their ascendant is in a water sign, dark hair, and a round face. Their weight can fluctuate. So they need to watch their diet and exercise, quite often changing their dressing, okay? Changing their dressing, their style, according to the fashion trends. These people are the ones who annoy others because they insist on coping or copying other people's styles. Okay, so when the moon and Venus are connected with one another, they can be simply obsessed with fashion, very attached to their mother. They will copy her in many ways, very affectionate with their other half, romantic and generous individuals with the moon in the first house, love surprising their partners. No matter how good their love life is, they still have moments of melancholy because they think of past events and how to avoid any negative emotions into the future because they're impressionable. It's very easy to manipulate these men and women. At least they have psychic abilities, can see if a situation is going to take a wrong turn or if people have bad intentions with them. So these men and women are extremely psychic if you have moon in the first house. Or you know somebody with moon in the first house. These men and women are extremely psychic. They know how to pinpoint who is real and who is fake, who is official and who is superficial. Okay, who's keeping it a buck? Who's keeping it 100? And who's just a fake motherfucker? Okay, so now they're going to still be giving and caring. They love to make others feel good and love it when their loved ones want to spoil them. Many will understand their feelings and their moods because they simply can't hide them well liked by people and enjoying their popularity when their moon is in Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, or Pisces. They are more shy and not that eager to receive attention from the public, You can always count on them to be flexible, to not mind anything new coming into their life. But if their moon is in Leo or Scorpio, Aquarius, or even Taurus, they tend to be more rigid and not accept a change. Okay, so if their moon is in Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, or Taurus, these men and women will tend to be more rigid and to not accept change. They will not like change to come into their life. They will prefer things to just remain the same. So now, men and women with moon in the first house are very sensitive in their responses to different people and situations. Their emotions and intuition are usually dominating their decisions, having them subjective and unconsciously projecting their moods that often change depending on others and their environment. So now most astrologists say that the specific position of the moon means they're always easily impressed, reacting in a strong way to everything that's happening. But in all, they're sympathetic, flexible, and very nice. These people are the people that are very kind. So the moon will surely lend them some of the features. So they're always seen mysterious, enchanting, and also gentle, very expressive. Their temper and feelings are shown on their face, this being the main reason why they simply can't hide what's going on in their mind and in their heart. Their changing moods and the way they make the other people problems their own are sure to keep them constantly busy. So these men and women can take on the moods and the feelings of other people because they're very in tune with the world. They're very in tune with the universe and other people's emotions. And because of that, they can take on what people are actually going through and embrace it as if it was their own. So now they will become completely alienated and feel very empty because this reality would be something they can't accept or deal with. Okay, and I think I skipped something, so we're going to go back. So their changing moods and the way they make other people's problems their own are sure to keep them constantly busy. If they were restrained from being expressive and sensitive, they will become completely alienated and feel very empty because the reality would be something they can't accept or deal with. So now the biggest challenge for these men and women is being happy without having others depending on their care. They will see everyone as a mirror of their own self and won't be able to just go in with reality from what's only in their mind anymore. And this can go on for years just for, in the end, a type of insanity to have them completely subjugated. So now the moon in the first house men and women may seem unrealistic to those who don't have rich imagination. Many can also see them as eccentric, but their closest friends will like them for being good listeners. Their memory is going to be extremely incredible. So expect them to know where you have been at a specific date with whom and why you happen to be upset at the specific time. They may feel like their vulnerabilities are always on display and that others are able to see how fragile they actually are. I'm sorry. That's why they may act offensive and cling to those who least give the impression they can protect them. So now all astrologists say that moon keeps memories. So the moon is the center of all the emotions. Whatever that word is, I be messing up on the words. Okay, so what the astrologers are actually saying is that the moon really keeps memories. Okay, and also the emotions intact. Okay, this is what the moon is all about. Memories, emotions, past events, things that happened in the past. So now women are even related to it from a biological point of view because they have happenings in their bodies. Cycles happen in their bodies. For both genders, this celestial body is a great influencer over the mood. Psychology and behavior. Many people have strange experiences with the moon phases, some not even being aware why they are feeling strange sometimes. So the ones who are more lunar will be perfect caretakers. The others will just take good care to be perceived in a good way by the public. So the moon has to do her thing and influence them the way it knows best. So sensitivity and moodiness are at home with people having this celestial body in the first house. All right, that's all I have. Please leave a comment if anything resonates with you, and be sure to watch the next video to gain more insight on other transits and placements. I want to thank you for watching.